All right. Hello there, YouTube. How are you doing today? Today we're going to have a lovely little bit of a Sunday dreaming with me, the Common Sense Guy, my normal co-host, the Laughing Ogre,
How y'all doing?
somebody who's turned out to be kind of a regular, which is the voice of one, and we obviously have our main superstar guest, which is on the offensive
Yeah.
because we love
How you
having
doing,
him on.
guys?
Excellent, excellent.
So,
Oh, what was that you were saying? Can we jump right into the cool shit he was saying right before we went on air? Common sense. You asked
we
me.
can indeed. If you want to ask that question, just go, just get on with it.
So old, y'all are young. Yeah,
I
I
know.
understand that you're so cool on the offensive. Not that I think so. I mean, you're just some kid. I ain't gonna kiss your ass. But
you always do this to me, Ogo. You always charm my pants off when we get on this show.
But it's true that you are going into because you're cool. I mean, you live in Saigon. Who can say that? Eat them bimbap sandwiches, right? Them fucking. I know. I lived in Orlando for a while and have a Vietnam town. They love to gamble and they make good sandwiches, believe it or not. But you do it out. But now you're going to a different country to meet up with another YouTuber, Dangerfield. To tell us about that if you can.
Yeah, so it's really not that exciting, okay? But yeah, I live in Saigon, Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. It's just across the border. Takes about 8 hours on a bus to get there. And next week there's a national holiday, so I'm just going to hop on a bus, go through the border, and then I'm going to meet up with him there. And I'm going with a mate, and we're hopefully going to do. I think we're going to do a drum and bass night in Phnom Penh as well while we're there. Dangerfield doesn't know that yet. I don't even know if he likes drum and bass. He might be annoyed.
He'll never see
what
this.
What are you doing, Hugh? Like, I just thought we were going to chill out, you know. But
he'll never see this, so you can say whatever you want. It's all good.
That's a surprisingly really good impression of Dangerfield, to be fair.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a top lad. I'm looking forward to seeing him. It's going to be fun.
So it's funny because over there in Cambodia, they went from killing people that had a chair in their house and like that maybe wore glasses to now. Will you be able to have a beer there and have fun? I mean, what's the
you can do whatever you want. It's like the most libertarian society on earth. It's incredible. Pretty much anything goes in Cambodia. Yeah, it's full of dirty side alleys and bars, and it's got a nice river where you can get snacks and hang out as the sun goes down. It's got some nice classy restaurants, and then it's just got like filth and degeneracy everywhere else. And it's got a shocking history. If any people out there have Netflix, watch, I think it's called First They Killed My Father. It's actually very realistic because they had a horrific genocide there where just in terms of percentage of the population that got wiped out, it's the greatest attack on a group ever. Like they almost went from 7 mil. The plan was to bring 7 million people down to 1 million so that this communist madman. Yeah, I believe it was a quarter of the population that got done in, or maybe a third.
3.2. Yes. So to any Jews listening, stop fucking whining. You didn't
and I'm here. Well, I'm not whining. I always said that maybe those numbers are bloated because it is. It's, but I'm not. I don't want to go into the Holocaust denial right now. The voice, unless Common Sense Guy does. But I will say this: most people don't know that. Most people don't know that, bro. That you're going to Nam Yang right now. Or how do you say that again?
Phnom Penh is the easy way to say it.
Phnom Penh.
You could be classy and go Phnom Penh, you know, but you can just say Phnom Penh. That's I think how you're meant to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
going to go now. You can go. I'm sure you're going to keep it above board, but you could probably go there, get some fucking opium, a 19-year-old hooker, a couple bottles of hooch, and a motel room for $10, everything, and go. Or you can go and just have a good time with mates, whatever you want to do. And the amazing thing is, most people don't know that they went from that. They would murder the Khmer Rouge would take people out of their mud huts and kill them if they had a book or glasses, reading glasses, a chair in some cases, because they were too advanced.
19,
yeah, and you're
over there, 19. I didn't know you liked older women.
Oh dear. It's better than the sofa, though, isn't it, voice? It's better than the sofa.
No, sofa will always be best.
Definitely not.
Trouble while you're there too, young man, because I'm sure it's all wide open, but they probably got their traps there for a young white man that has the accent that you have. They think that you're a millionaire, even if you're not. You know they do. Most of them.
No, as soon as they see me, they'll know I'm not a millionaire.
You too, man. If you were in, I don't know. I've never been to Cambodia. Been to Mexico a lot, and if you're white, they assume you're rich. So I don't know. Do all kinds of shit and charge you for it. No, and I mean the little thing. Give you a roll of toilet paper when you go to the restroom, and then like they get their hand out.
Okay.
So let me get this. You spend your time in Mexico in toilets with men.
Well, no.
Right.
No.
Given
no more
them
than you
money
spend your time there in Scotland drinking whiskey.
For quote unquote toilet paper. That's
no, but the weird thing is I've been to Mexico a lot of times and their cultures are so different. Tell me if this would be weird to you, but this is everywhere you go. When you go and say that you do have nature's calls, and so you go to the restroom and you want to go to a stall like is normal in our societies, it's rare that there's even a door. You've got some bathroom attendants staring at you, watching you. Most cases, I mean, it's their culture is so strange, man. And it's like, you know, they're ready with the toilet paper to hand. I can't even exaggerate that, mate. They're so strange over there.
Then. So they're just
they don't have the same culture of privacy that we do there. It's completely different. Anyway, but no, I don't spend a lot of time while I'm there in bathrooms with men. But unfortunately, it's hard to avoid it. Because if there is a bathroom the public can use, 90% of the time there's a freaking attendant there, and I don't know what his job is.
Yes, the correct word is pervert.
Yeah. And he's got a bloody tip bowl, a tip jar. All right, I'm leaving.
See, before the stream started, I was going to ask on the offensive, with your massive Twitter account, could you tweet this out? But I'm now going to say, please, on the offensive, don't tweet this shit out.
Do that. Okay, I'm
gonna have a massive Twitter account. I got like 2,000 people. It's not that much. But yeah, I'll tweet it out.
Oh,
like, come here now.
We've got 390. Big guys. Sorry
Did
about
we actually pretend that we know what we're doing for a change and do one of these stories?
Sure.
You're the boss here. You're meant to be running this, not us.
I know. I run a democracy. You should know that.
See, and that's why ultimately it will fail.
You will fail. Get kicked. Did you get any of the links I had sent you at all, Ogre?
Yeah, I was just pulling them up in case I wasn't sure if you wanted me to pop them up like I do on the weekdays or not. But yes,
if that's okay, we're okay for a little bit. We only really need the titles, really. To be fair, the titles are so fucking there. That's all we really need.
Yeah, I think the first one is from Sky News. Social media firms must protect children or face new laws, says Jeremy Hunt. Jeremy Hunt is threatening new laws to punish social media firms for, quote, turning a blind eye, close quote, to children, quote, being exposed to harm, close quote.
I hate to interrupt you, Ogre, but what that should say is turning a blind eye to children being exposed to Islam. That's the difference.
No, I was going to go down a different route. I was going to go down exposing children to the realities of life. People are cunts, and you're going to have to get used to it.
Wasn't Jeremy Hunt the healthcare minister or whatever?
Yeah, apparently this is also to do with mental health issues as well, which is the reason why he's been brought into it.
Yeah, you know, when there was the outpouring the other day at PMQs, I think it was about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, all about mental health and, we're putting more money into mental health. It's a multifaceted approach. We've got this great big plan to just cure every mental person in our fair and pleasant land. And I just thought to myself, they're bullshitting here. There's something in it for them. So this is what they're doing. Yep. Hey, we're going to censor social media. Don't you care about the mentally ill? Yeah, apparently he says that he fears that you are collectively turning a blind eye to a whole generation of children.
Yeah.
Children being exposed to harmful emotional side effects of social media prematurely. I mean, you know, like he gives a shit. This guy's such a cocky little bastard. There's a picture of him in the article. I just want to give him a slap.
I'd like to make 2 points. First one is you can't use the term children to describe 18-year-olds in college. Secondly, is anyone else but me worried about the sudden suspicious rise of so many fucking nutters in this country?
It's not a case of it actually being a suspicious amount of numbers that have actually increased. It's just the fact that the government is now actually forced to actually record them.
Oh man, is this the lad we're slapping?
Yes, that is the lad that we are slapping.
Because as soon as you said that, I breezed through and I did notice this face, and that's the first face I came to that it did just scream.
I know exactly that kind of dick, you know, because there were guys like him at my school, and they would have been prefects, and you know, they would have busted you for smoking, and he would have gone, look, smoking's really bad for you chaps. Yeah, got to turn you in. You understand, right? You go, you're such a dick, hunt. You're such a dick. No wonder you don't have any friends. You know, that's the kind of guy he is.
Did you go to one of those all-boy uppity schools, did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Well, fuck you. I did for a short time myself my whole life. But here, the thing of it is that I mean, you get a microcosm in that way because you have your, I mean, he just said it. I mean, I could just hear myself saying it. Man, I used to go, me and Cabbage Patch talk about it. Every week I'd have to go get 10 of the best. You know, and that's where the boys Dean beats your ass with a fucking cane 10 times, you know. Anyway, carry on. No, but he's one of them though. He's one that would be like whipping you and being a dick because, you know, I don't know. He
wouldn't beat you, you know, like because the older boys who caught you doing something, they probably steal your cigarettes off you and punch you, which wasn't that bad. But like he would report you to your housemaster. Without question, he'd get you in real trouble. Then there'd be a call to your parents. It was way preferable to get punched. You know, it was much better. And after you got punched, you were more popular for some weird reason.
So when you were in school, did they have corporal punishment when you were in school?
Yeah, unofficial, yeah.
Oh, see, they had official. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. He looks like one of the lads that for me, it would have been one of the schoolmasters or boys deans or under dean or whatever, floor master. They called a lot of them because they'd be over like the floor 2 on, you know, whatever dorm. And he looks like one of the ones that would have the paddle behind his desk that said, you know, whatever, the Punisher or the rule breaker, the rule breaker. Crybaby. We had one guy. They had one dad. What he had burned in the paddle, had holes drilled in that. Somebody said "Crybaby" on it, and
I'm sorry, but is this like a gay S&M stream?
Yes, it felt like it to me. I never got it, man. And whenever I got older, yes, it felt like it. But thanks for going there every time, you cocksucker. You know, every time you go there, boys.
One went to the all boys predatory school.
Methinks thou protest too much. Now, where were we at before I derailed it with a slap? Because he does look like you could slap him in the face. He looks like one of them dudes that does. It's like homoerotic. In his heart, he wishes he was born a woman, but since he wasn't, he's going to go ahead and take it out on the earth because he has a penis and he hates you for it.
And to be fair, this story absolutely scares me, to be honest with you, because if they're actually able to start forcing social media in itself to actually, by law, not by power or suggestion, but by law, starting them to be able to force people what times they're allowed on the internet, to forcing people if you're going to be literally policed properly on the internet, what you can and cannot say, and everything else like that. We are literally turning into an authoritarian fucking country.
Well, no, I have to disagree. Common sense. No, hang on. Common sense, guy. If it was up to me, I wouldn't allow anybody under 16 to use social media.
And that's why you're a cunt and nobody cares what you think.
I don't know. Was that? Wait, now hang on. He's a cunt because I was agreeing with that. So what does that make us old crotchety old men? Because as soon as he said that, I was actually resonating with that. So is that a bad idea?
Yeah.
I mean, fucking social media.
Well, you couldn't groom children, could you? If they weren't on it, you couldn't groom them.
Well, I mean, on my Twitter account, sometimes I get pictures of penises and weird sex positions. Could there at least have to be a filter for young kids where they can't click on the view anyway button and see some of the shit that I see? And I don't mean Milo Yiannopoulos or Ben Shapiro.
Look, I'm just going to quickly take the floor on this one. It doesn't matter too much about the age. It matters about what the parents fucking want to do. What happened to fucking self-responsibilities and the responsibilities of the parents to decide what the children are going to do? It's not up to the state. It's not up to social media. It's not even up to the people on social media what they put on. It's up to fucking themselves and the fucking parents to look after them. There is nothing else.
Right. Totally agree. Can I just come in here with something? Ogre, we're right. Listen to this. I'm on his fucking Wikipedia. This is Jeremy Hunt, right? He was educated at Charterhouse School, where he was head boy.
Yes, you know it. You know it, he was.
One photo gave it away.
And you know this too, because if you live this experience as I have, I was in a boys' school and I was in a private school until I was a freshman, and then I was in a private school for a year, and then basically a military private school for the rest of my high school tenure. And oh man, this guy, no one. With the point being this, who liked him? Did the schoolmaster like him? The headmaster, did he like him? Who liked him is the question.
Nobody even likes him now. We don't even know how he got fucking enough votes to become an MP. Nobody knows.
So then this is the question after that. What's the motivation then? Why do you have these people that like to run, yell, and tell, to quote Theresa May when she was home security, whatever, home security secretary, whatever they call it? What I mean, good God, no one likes you. The schoolmaster don't like you. The students don't like you. Quit it.
Yeah. There's no mention of him being married on his Wikipedia. I think he might be a closet homosexual. I know I'm taking things off topic here, but he really does look like one. He just looks like a man with a burning rage in his eyes. And yeah, these people are assholes. We can't trust them to do anything right. So even if we like the idea, even if we go, oh, I do that in my household, we know the government's not going to implement it in a way that actually works. This is just going to cause more problems.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you on that one, especially about the part about him being a closet homosexual. But I'm not too sure about the closet part. I think he's starting.
So, that's what I was thinking.
So basically, what you're saying is you want to kill all gays.
No, nobody would say that here. I mean, they let him be gay, but the problem, that's another thing. Look, it's just another point to say no one likes the guy that run, yells, and tells. The one that they're telling, even if they like the information, don't like him. The ones that are being told on, the ones that aren't, the straight, no one likes him. And then just come out of the closet, dude. Just go. I mean, we all know that you've seen one really close, right up close. Probably gave it a kiss. So just say you did it. It's cool. Nobody cares.
Ogre, you should, send them a plane ticket to Mexico in your special bathrooms.
Dude,
as long as you're in your sofa,
if you go to Mexico, you'll find out, man. If you go there, they're not special. I've heard a lot of weird stuff about European bathrooms, so not British, but so I don't want to go there right now. I mean, I've heard stories of pooping in a hole on the side of the road, and how there's no toilet paper anywhere.
Well, that's only for the refugees. And the proper white people, they actually have a toilet. And in some places in France, they actually have a bidet, so they can actually clean your ass afterwards.
Man, my cousin Rajad told me they were in Paris, I guess. And what city was it? It wasn't Nice. I think it was Paris. But people just piss on the side of the road like a woman right here. I don't know. There's weird shit everywhere. That's all I can say. Why beat up on Mexico, voice? Why are you so mean? You're a racist, dude. You're an alt-right racist. I don't even think
that's it.
And Ogre, have I ever denied it?
No, that's what I said. You don't even deny it. Cheers to you, mate. Cheers to you. God bless you. That's why I see. And it's look on the offensive. I even asked you one day, are you all right? You said no. That's why he wants to be on tonight. He's like, oh, one of our leaders is on. Well, fuck you, voice. He's not even on.
What about all right leaders is on today? Yes, go for it.
Yes. Anyway. Yeah, this is I don't know much about this guy, but he's everything that y'all said by looking at him, and that's not very scientific. It's just what I'm going with tonight.
Yeah, I'm still going to go back to the story and saying this is just proof that the government want to actually force authoritarianism onto everybody. They want to control everyone. This isn't the nasty party of old. This is even worse. At least with the nasty party of old, they actually were telling you up front, we're going to fuck you in the ass. It's going to hurt, but you'll be all right in a while. Where this is a case of they're literally date raping us. They're lulling us into a false sense of security, and they're date raping us.
Oh man!
Just on the Facebook thing, did you guys feel the hypocrisy when Zuckerberg was made to look like a bad guy by the U.S. government? Like congressman after congressman who support the Patriot Act that allowed the U.S. government to spy on every single citizen, and they're there talking about privacy concerns. I mean, these people have no shame whatsoever, and I don't know if they even recognize the irony. But they just pull these people up and go, you're at fault here, you entrepreneur who's given everybody an incredible service where they can connect with thousands of people and market their businesses for free. You piece of shit. You know.
Well, think of this on the offensive. If I lie to you right now, if I tell you a flat out lie, and even it might have some bearing, who knows? Just make up any scenario in your head. I can't think of one right now. Has some bearing, but it doesn't cost you any money. What's the end result of that in a week if you find out it's a lie? You could come on air and say, "But I mean, what's the judicial response to that?" It's nothing, right? But it's nothing. Nothing happens. But what if you lie to Congress or the Senate? What if you lie to them? What do they call that? So I mean, I just want you to think about it. These people already consider themselves to be so great that if one of us lies to the other one in some way or another, no, it's not the coolest thing in the fucking world, but there is no repercussion. But if you lie to these people, just like to the FBI, I don't even buy that stuff. As soon as you put somebody in that position where they feel like they're that great, you can't even forget what kind of pancakes you ate on Tuesday morning. It's just, they do get this. And no, I don't think they get the hypocrisy, dude, because they think you ain't supposed to even lie to them without going to jail for 5 years. They don't get it.
Yeah, they're cunts.
Well, actually, I think it's the case that they don't even think that they can work out that we actually know what they're doing. They still think that they're hiding behind a smoke screen. Yeah, it's fine. They don't actually know what's going on. Quick, sell the data. Quick.
Yeah, let's point at this guy. Point at him. Point at him. Point at him. Point at Snowden. Point at Zuckerberg now. Forget about President Trump just bombed fucking Syria. He would call it a shithole country. Why the fuck we bomb Syria? What the fuck? Them missiles are 1.5 million a piece from Raytheon. Whatever the fuck they call themselves, man. I don't want. Oh, God.
Wrong stream, Ogre. Wrong stream.
All right, and and I'll tell you what, you got if he keeps on the way he's going and bowing his knee because he's getting tired. I know it's a lot of stress. You're gonna have to put him on that list too. Offensive. He's gonna have to go on. And he thinks he's the fucking bollocks, but he might be another one, man. I'm not saying it now, but I did take my pen off.
I think we have to remember that this whole story is set up to, we're going to take away your freedoms so you can't use social media the way that you want to use it. And what we're going to do this is exactly out of Hitler's playbook. Think of the children. The children are bad. We're trying to save them. Are bad. Everybody's fucking bad. That's not the point.
Right, yes.
Yeah. It's funny that conservatives used to always say this, and they understood that if you got government involved in people's lives, people would take less good care of themselves, and it would like diminish personal responsibility. And here they are talking about protecting children.
Yep.
I mean, surely it's the parents' job to protect kids, especially from things like social media. I mean, this is something you can control. It's in your household. There they are getting involved and we'll do it for you. This is anti-conservative. It's very sort of progressive. It's very big government, interfering in every little bit of your life. The Conservative Party just isn't conservative, are they?
No, I'm sorry, but historically, the government has always been in your life, every aspect. That's nothing new.
No, they've tried. They haven't always been in it, but they've always tried. I'll give you that. But they haven't always been in it by law, but they've tried.
You go back to serfdom. Everything that serf did was mandated by the Duke or whoever he worked for. At what time he got out of bed, what job he did, who he married, et cetera, et cetera. So if you think this control is on you, no, it really isn't.
Was that done by democracy or was that done by a form of monarchy?
Yeah.
It's feudalism. It's a different political system, and you're kind of comparing apples and oranges there. I mean,
but you're a pretty smart young man. Tell us, is feudalism bad? Even in the modern age, could you imagine a system that would be a feudal system in this modern age that may be good, or would it only be bad?
You're talking to me?
Yeah. I hate to put you on the spot, but you know what it means.
No, I don't think feudalism can beat capitalism ever. No, it's like a complete violation of property rights, like on so many levels. It's exploitation, and it took us like 150 years to grow out of it. We were still a monarchy though when we grew out of it. more of a constitution. No, well, not really a constitutional monarchy at that stage, but we evolved. You know, it wasn't just like one day it was over and now we're into fully fledged like laissez-faire capitalism. But capitalism is what made us rich, and individual freedom and these things are why we had the Industrial Revolution, and why other countries in the Middle East or whatever just, you know, remain shitholes to this day. So yeah, feudalism, no good, I would say.
Second. Do we get a third? Can we pass the motion?
No, I'm fine with. I just wanted his opinion. I could see how it could be good, but the only problem is that when you take capital, because we're taking out the idea that a feudal lords could not work for the prosperity of all the connected feudal lords, therefore working for the prosperity of the peasants. But I would say that even if that was the case, so that would take. Excuse me, that would be a form of super capitalism in my mind. Totally free market. You pay your 15, 20%, whatever it is, to the monarch, to the local feudal lord in this case. And other than that, you can open any shop you want. You can sell heroin. You can have a whorehouse. You can open a church. You can do whatever you want. You just pay your part to the. See what I mean? But that ain't going to happen.
Your taxes.
It hasn't happened. Pardon me?
Then you've got high taxes on the land that you're borrowing.
Well, no, I was saying that if that was the case, but again, understand that that's not going to happen. No feudal lord is going to leave it at, okay, whatever you do, just give me 15 or 20, just call it high end, 20% of whatever your increase is, you kick to the feudal lord. That's not going to happen. You know, there would be.
It's interesting because like feudalism existed when we were in an agricultural society, when like 97% of all people were farmers. You kind of wonder how it would work post-industrial, well, in the industrial age. Now we've got a service economy, not an agricultural one. So how would it work if we go back to that?
I think it might be less expensive than it is now, mate.
When it was functioning, basically what was going on was the lords or the barons or whatever the correct term is, they were just involved in price fixing. Yeah. So no one could negotiate a price for land. So there was no market. There were no free markets. Everything was, you know, everything's agricultural and you don't have a correct price for land. So there's no prices communicating anything. So you'd always get food shortages. Everything would be inefficient. It was kind of like protectionism, but it was very regionally based protectionism. And yeah, nothing functions like that, right? You need the market to be free so that people know what things are worth and how much labor they should spend on this rather than that. But that never happened.
Would you say that it might actually be a form of cronyism? Actually, the first probably forms of cronyism, in actual fact, as you quite rightly said, price fixing and everything else like that would be a point of trying to get everybody together to be able to decide what prices we're going to fit. And I think that would be a form of cronyism.
If you go back 500 years, BCE, in China. I mean, that's all it was, common sense. I'm not going to go into a long thing to try to show how giant my.
I just wanted to point one thing out. We are so fucking off topic.
Well, it's beautiful though, because so let me end this. Let me give you all credit and say this. As soon as you said it, and I doubt Voice, even if he changed his mind, would agree, because he's not going to admit to change his mind for us lot. But when you first came up, I said yes, 16. That sounds. But now that as soon as the point was raised by both you lads that the onus lies on the parents, let anybody that wants to get now, I can't disagree with that. My mind has been changed on that. I would say there shouldn't be no age limit. If you want to get on social media, get on it. It's up to your fucking parents.
See, that's why when the empire raises again, you won't have a place in it, Ogre.
Pardon me, sir?
That's when the empire raises again, you won't have a place in it.
Oh, shut up, Mad Dodge. Fuck off, Mad Dodge. Back to the
I may not, but I will stand fast to what I believe in. I know that. I know one thing. If an idea is ever met with a superior idea, and you don't, and those two ideas are confront one another, and a person doesn't sway themselves, well, then they're not intelligent. Yes, but that doesn't go for everything.
Look at the parents today. They're incapable of looking after kids. They're not like our parents were. You know,
I don't think they are. Probably not.
Today's are like, I'll give you a good example, right? When I got into trouble at school, not that I'm saying I ever did, but
that's because you're Irish and you're trying to blow everything up. We know.
But like when I got into trouble, when I went home and said, "Listen, Ma, Dad, I've got detention. It was the first question was, "What did you do?" Nowadays, when a kid comes home and says, "Listen, I've got attention," the question is, "Well, why do you get attention? You never do anything wrong."
What did they do to you?
Yeah,
that's the question. What did they do to you? See, they used to be, "What did you do?" Now the parents say, "What did they do to you?" In other words, they say, "You're so innocent." No, and I'll tell you what else. When I went home, because you had to tell, right? And I've got oh man, if I got in trouble when I go home on break, I'd be in trouble there too, so I had the double whammy. And I wasn't, during school days, I wasn't home all the weeks like y'all may have been. I was off somewhere else, and I came home on, for certain times, when it was 4th of July or whatever, what have you, spring break, that kind of thing. So, but if I did something bad, like we were talking about before, and oh man, I can't get over this guy. Because it's so funny. It's, they say a couple things else just to go where you talk about driving it off topic. Let me drive it back, because I look at this dude. You can see him here again. I mean, oh man, they say that a person's dog looks like them after a while, but it's not really true. I think people pick animals that have their personality. So
fuck me. That's going to be bad. That is going to be a little chihuahua trying to pick on a Rottweiler. But
he looks like a fucking chihuahua, doesn't he? He looks like a bloody ankle biting piece of shit.
He does. I would like to encroach on both of your points very quickly and go off topic again. Where you're saying that it's a case that obviously parents are not the same as what they are, but that's a byproduct of the indoctrination of feminism and, in fact, destroying the household as it should be generally anyway. You need both parents. That's just common knowledge. Not common sense, but common knowledge.
Mm.
You need both a disciplinarian and you need the mother.
It's best. Yeah.
It's just a simple fact of life. You need proper parents. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. But it still has the onus on the mum. If they're a single mum, they've decided that, or circumstances have taken down that road, they need to look after their children. Other than that, they need to make sure that their child is safe. If that means that they don't put their child on Facebook or social media, then fair enough. If you ain't got the time to look after your child, take it away from them. Don't leave it on there. And then if they are on there, don't blame the social networking for your fucking mistakes. Still works that way.
Yes. Yeah. We got another really kick-ass story. I don't know how long we're going to be here today. But I do have this ready whenever you want. This one's right up my street, and I'm going to try to be silent and see what everybody thinks. This is just a great one. The next one, whenever you're ready. I mean, no pressure.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Crazy. Hit me with that.
Look at this, man. Check this out. I mean, for good, bad, or indifferent, if you're going to use something this drastic, why not? So another story brought to us by Common Sense Guy, almost as exclusively usual, via Sky News, which is not so usual. It says India, the great, big, huge country of India, with somewhere over 1 billion people that do not eat cows in it. India, poised to introduce death penalty for raping girls under 12. The crackdown follows the rape of an 8-year-old girl that has sparked mass protests across the country. And that's the headline. I will reserve my opinions on this till I hear from you, gentlemen.
I fully support this. I couldn't support it more.
I just wanted to talk about the actual context beforehand. If a country that's taken away capital punishment in general is thinking of reinstating a capital punishment for a particular crime, whatever the crime may be, we'll take away the aspect of rape away for this moment in time, and for children under the age of 12. We'll take that away for a second. We'll come back to it, but we'll take it away. If you have that actually happening where they're bringing back a capital punishment, does that not, in your own head, incite the images of maybe there might be a pandemic actually going on for that crime, and that's the reason why you have to install such harsh punishments towards it? Or is that just my connotations of the story?
No, I would agree with you, but again, the end result is the same. Kill the fuckers. I'm sorry, I'm not one of these fucking libertarians who believe in the non-aggression fucking principle. No, you rape a fucking child, I will happily see you off this fucking planet. Period.
I think you violated the non-aggression principle if you rape a child.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. Like that's definitely not allowed under libertarian principles. But yeah, it says that they've pleaded not guilty, and they didn't just rape her; they killed her. They beat her to death. She was missing for 2 weeks, and it was Hindu men. They planned to do it, and they did it to scare off her Muslim nomadic tribe from the area.
Yes.
So this is some sort of, you know, intertribal conflict going on in India.
Yeah.
The police said that the girl was raped repeatedly at a Hindu temple.
Yeah.
Where she was sedated and held captive before being strangled and bludgeoned to death. So, yeah, I mean, this is just so third world. It doesn't get, you know, more third world than this. And it just makes me think, please, can we not import people from this part of the world anymore? Can we just stop doing it? That's what I immediately think when I hear stories like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point that I was trying to make at the beginning. I'm quite interested in the fact that I do actually agree with most of everybody on the panel, if not all of the panel. If you rape a child, you should basically die. I have no qualms with that whatsoever. It's just the point that if you have to change the law in your country to bring back capital punishment, I just think that there might be a little point of trying to scratch underneath the surface and trying to find out the actual proper reasons why they've changed the law, rather than just looking at it as a singular story. I think that there is something going on in India that has made public consensus change that completely. Not
in
just
this
one
modern
case.
age, there is every capability, even in India. Now, in our country, because they send it to lab and to another lab, to another, they send it through all kinds of hands to make sure that everybody knows no one made a mistake. I'm talking about DNA evidence. I know I haven't mentioned it. DNA evidence. If you have a male's DNA, and if you're talking about an 8-year-old girl, I'm sorry, folks, I don't want to be graphic, but even if it wasn't ejaculation, there would be a very small probability of penetration with that young of a girl where it wouldn't abrade and leave some kind of cell behind. And that's enough said, where a swab would detect it. So I would say that they should have a very quick hit to where they can see that, yes, this person has done this. And if in those cases, well, yes, your DNA is inside, not close to her vagina, on her leg, not, it's inside this little girl or little boy's vagina or anus. No, I think that they should fucking walk them up a fucking scaffolding. I think they should, and to fuck this, the bag, you know, the bag is for everybody in the audience. Put it on if you want right before you hang them, but walk them up the scaffolding. Let them see the rope. Let them see the steps, and hang the bastards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah, I think we're all there.
Well, there was that rape in India a while back as to like why they've changed the law. There were huge protests for that as well, wasn't there? The gang rape on the bus. You guys remember that? It was horrific. That everybody took part in raping this girl in front of her boyfriend, who they also like tortured and beat with a metal pole or something. And she died like 4 days after the rape. I mean, from her injuries, like internal injuries. I mean, it's just, you know, horrific stuff. But I don't know how prevalent rape actually is in India. I know these horror stories come out. I have heard this, though, from women who've traveled there. They say that the men are pretty fucking sleazy and that a lot of places do not feel safe. And a friend of mine went there with 2 girls, a bloke, and he was like, I was on high alert. Quite a lot of the holiday, just thinking, Jesus, am I going to have to defend these women now? Like, guys are gropey, and there aren't women anywhere in India. Like in a lot of the areas, anyway, all the women are working at home, so the men just completely dominate the street. If you're a woman walking down, it's just dudes everywhere.
I mean, I do think that we could take a correlation from this, though. We may not be able to find an actual proper causation with the numbers and everything, but we can take a correlation from this by going, well, if they're raping 12-year-olds, if they're raping kids of 14 and 15, and those are the stories that get transferred across the pond, so to speak, or across the continents that we get to hear, how many rapes must go on before we actually hear it?
More. It's hard. You can't say how many, but more.
Well, that's my point. That's the reason why I think the law's changing. That's the reason why I think the law's changing, because there must be of what precedent for it.
It's because of what Offensive just said. in their culture, and it's not only are they busy, it's so funny too, because yes, when there's nothing to do in India, I have a good friend of mine that went to Darjeeling, India. It's where your queen gets her tea, believe it or not. Darjeeling, India. The sun shines there somewhere between 6 and 20 days out of the year. The rest of the time it's misty. They say it's raining, but it's basically a cloud that is just there. But it's great for tea. But they're Indians there, and oh man, I don't even want to say her last name. There's probably not too many. I don't know how many missionaries there are. I think there were a few. But the women, what they do is they sit with a hammer and break big rocks into little rocks into smaller rocks for I'm not even kidding you, to sell that as, you know, for like driveways and stuff. And then the women, holy shit, do they work over there? I don't, you know, it's unreal to me. It's the way it should be too, lads.
Well, you have to remember also you have a disparity between the number of men and the number of women. There's fewer women, and this is also one of these, you know, progressive countries that everybody defends that has the thing called dowry killings. You know, this is not a country just like the shitholes of the Middle East and parts of Africa. This is a culture that doesn't like women.
China.
You know, of course, shit like this is going to happen. You know,
I mean, China, don't they do the same thing? I'm not from that era, but when you say that voice, it makes me think that, you know, don't they like abort girls and it's because they want a boy?
China's almost 2 to 1.
Why would anyone do that? If you don't, we always should have at least a 50-50 at best. But if anything, wouldn't you always want more women than men, gentlemen? If you could make your ideal society, I'm not trying to be sexual or anything, but isn't that the ideal society? Maybe 51.
Yes, but these are patriarchal cultures, and on a local level, it's always better to have a male be the head of the house. Therefore, they want boys instead of girls. You know, so that's the problem. And it's just amazing how many fucking feminists aren't covering this. But you know,
feminists don't give a fuck about women.
Exactly. If they didn't cover things like fucking Rochdale, Rotherham, and fucking Telford, and the ones that we actually want to talk about, and Newcastle and those ones, why the fuck would they talk about something in a different country?
Yeah, common sense guy. It's some big bloke from fucking London does more for women than any feminist I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to go too far off topic, but it's Kilroy. Everybody, go check out Kilroy. They got some amazing videos coming out from that wonderful.
Don't plug that shit on my channel.
Come on, man. I don't want to be a dick. I'm not just gonna like shit on it. I just want people to go look. It's so funny. They got this big hall, and there's like shitloads of tables and chairs. And in one, I won't mention who it is, so I won't plug them. But somebody's there recording it, and then you look, and it's maybe he said 20, but I counted real quick when he spun it around. There were 38 people in this room that was meant to hold that looked like about 400, maybe 350. And I mean, oh man, my heart goes out to the people that are there. God bless them.
Can I say something interesting that I just found on Wikipedia? Rape in India, right?
Yeah.
So we're all thinking, oh, it's like really high. It is the 4th most common crime against women in India, but there are apparently only 25,000 cases a year. And India has been characterized as one of the countries with the lowest per capita rates of rape.
Does that take into account the actual country and not just the cities?
I don't know. These are the numbers according to National Crime Records Bureau.
25,000 into 1.2 billion. Who's got a calculator? I'll get it if I.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not bad. Those numbers.
Not a lot.
It doesn't even go past 1%.
That is so tiny. That is tiny.
I wonder if it's, you know, they don't report it or they have a different standard. But you wonder why people are protesting if there is no problem with rape. Maybe people are just deluded and dumb over there. Who knows? I mean, people protest plenty of silly things in our country, so you know, who knows? But yeah,
Oh,
anyway, should we talk about what's her name? Meghan Markle and her her wedding. Should we move on to that?
Yes. I just want to. I'll quickly tell you that's 25,000. I just want to quickly tell you that number. It turns out to be 48,000 per million. That's point. That's a very so yeah. Anyway, it's good to point out all sides. Is the only reason why I wanted to follow through with that. So rape doesn't happen often there, but anywhere it happens, I would say if it happens to a youth that young, it would be time to end it. So thank you so much for getting us off of that and on to something else. I have this ready if you'd like me to go with it. Here, Common Sense.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to talk about Meghan Markle's wedding, where basically we're going to combine the last two stories into one. They might as well, where she's actually getting rid of. Well, she's not getting rid. She's not going to have her dad walk her down the aisle or even turn up for the wedding. She's not getting her uncles into the wedding. She's not getting her cousins into the wedding, and a couple of other secondary family members. And I just wanted to ask everybody. I wonder why she's not allowed to bring some of her family into a wedding.
Well, first of all, I would say, who gives a fuck about the royal family? They're nothing but a fucking blight on fucking the taxpayer. But that's just my personal.
An Irish person would say that. Now, carry on with your point.
Well,
I might be Irish, but I'm also British. So
just about.
And second, I think we should be sort of unhappy that apparently one of the royal family is marrying a fucking slopper from America. You know,
she's because she's black.
Yeah,
you don't like her because she's black.
Yeah.
No, because she's a fucking divorcee. You know,
I want to take that to task though, right? She's not fucking black. I don't buy into this one drop rule.
But you're racist too. Now I respect you, kid, but you're racist.
She is like 6% black. She's 6% black.
Can't you see? They were kings, and they built everything. You think you would have had a British Navy, my friend? All this rule Britannia rule the waves. But if it wasn't for the Negroes, you would have never known how to build ships. Now, how dare you?
We would have just been living in caves. Thank you to the Negroes. But Meghan fucking Markle isn't one of them, all right? Look at her. If no one had complained about this on Twitter about her being black and tainting the royal rose with her vile black eggs or whatever, I would have had no idea. She looks to me like a tanned white woman.
Yeah,
but she does.
I'm sorry.
I said this before we went on. But
one at a time, please, lads. One at a time, or I'll stop muting.
Yeah.
Are you fucking blind?
She doesn't look black.
But she doesn't look fucking white.
She doesn't really look that black either. I don't know.
I have to ask what the TVs are like over in fucking the Golden Triangle, because you don't seem to be getting a very good picture.
To be fair, I wouldn't class her as black either.
She doesn't look black. She doesn't have black nose. She doesn't have black lips. She doesn't have black hair. She doesn't even have black hair.
So you're saying she's a mongrel, a half-breed?
No, you're saying that. We're just saying that we don't class her as black.
Proud person of mixed descent. That's how she.
No, I'm looking at her right now.
And a humanitarian. Have some respect. Okay.
Puerto Rican at best. She does not look African or Negroid. Let's keep it this way. I'm going to say, someone argue, is there a little bit of coffee in that cream? Well, maybe yes, but what kind of darkener is in there? And she doesn't look Negroid. I would sooner say that she was. Yeah, I'm done.
Can I say this as well, right? So the alt-right were freaking out that a black girl's getting married, and the left, like people on the left, were like, "This is so wonderful for the future of race relations." You know,
why do you sound like a gay Donald Trump?
A gay Donald Trump, yeah. Well, anyway, the left were saying shit like this, right? And you think, if Harry brought home a Somali and said, "Mom, Dad, I'm marrying her," then I'd be like, wow, this is big for race relations. But I can't really see it with this girl. She's just a fit girl with a bit of a tan.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Look at Harry, though. Look at his face. He's like, yeah, I'm hitting this shit tonight. I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm getting that pentang. It's pink on the inside.
Yeah. I'm way more concerned about the fact that she's already been divorced. That just seems like bad form. That's breaking decorum.
Yeah, because then you're getting this other shit that just the Prince of Wales already pulled this shit on y'all, man, with Princess Di and these guys. And then, that was so fucked up. Because that's for a Yank. I'm like, Princess Di, and now he's banging this chick. And it's like, what? When you're royalty, okay, everybody thinks it's so great. But in my mind, if you want to be remembered as anything, it kind of would be a shitty life, because you can't, man. No, and I agree. You can't marry a woman that has had a divorce. No more than you can have mistresses and divorces and all this shit. And if you have a mistress, don't get fucking caught. I mean, for God's sake.
Yeah, she does come across like a bit of a thought. I think it's the feminism, isn't it? That you just go, blatant slut shamer. Like, damaged goods there. Like, otherwise, why be a feminist?
I'm sorry, but this is something that actually has confused me for a while now. Can someone explain to me what a thought is?
It's that hoe over there.
I mean, I saw this.
A bot is the one that you try to.
It's like calling somebody a slut. They don't want to be people to say they're slut shaming and the word slut, so they came up with a new term, a new word, thoth, which is the same thing as a slut. It means that hoe over there. That is just like saying it's a loose woman. It's a woman that says she likes you, and you buy her meals, and you help her pay her rent for 6 months, and then you find out she's been sucking all your mates' cocks the whole time.
And do we agree that she's not only a thought, but she's a gold digger?
That's her. Yes, she's all. Yes. Yeah.
You know the thing that I absolutely love about this story is the idea of her being a feminist and taking the proper little girl's fantasy of going, I'm going to find my Prince Charming, I'm going to find my prince in shining armor, and then going, well, no, I'm a feminist. I don't need a fucking man, apart from you, because you're rich and you're royal and you're a prince. You're everything I've ever wanted. Sorry, I just thought that she's playing into her actual feminist tendencies rather than actually being a feminist.
What's wrong, common sense? You've never seen a fucking hypocrite before.
Well, no, I've only spoken to you a couple of times, mate.
When have I been hypocritical?
We hardly ever have you on, as a matter of fact, a voice.
No, I want to go down the road. When have I been hypocritical?
Well, in fact, what has it been? It's only been like, that's why maybe 6 times, common sense. Is that what you're saying? Because we don't have it on often at all. So when I mean, look at Harry. Look at his face. I don't even know what to say, but Harry, his brother with the nice balding pate and the more regal bearing. I mean,
you take the piss out of my monarchy now.
I'm just saying his brother is much more of a regal chap, in my opinion.
Well, he's a fucking ginger. Look at him. He's got no soul.
Yeah, this guy, look at his face. I mean, well, I don't care. I hit that. She lets me hit that butthole, and it's black too. It's like her ring piece is black as a fucking Goodyear tire.
He's the Prince of fucking England. I'm sure he's had women's buttholes before.
You hear that on the offensive? Her ring piece is just as black as a Benelli tire.
Yeah, I reckon she sorts him out. I mean, she's a gold digger. She's going to do whatever she can to get that ring. She's like there, putting on lingerie. She does all kinds of freaky shit for him. But, the guy's had like 12 absolutely stunning girlfriends before. He's got the pick of the pack, and he goes for some 35-year-old. Is she 35? I mean, she's getting on a bit. Don't you want that young? Ooh, she's 36, for fuck's sake. Why didn't he marry a 22-year-old blonde? If I were the Prince of England, I'd have a fucking unbelievably hot 22-year-old blonde.
So stunning that people would be afraid to speak to her when she walked in the room. You wouldn't really worry about her cheating on you because dudes would be terrified of her fucking stunning glory that knocked them over. When the average man seen her, they would just be like, oh, look, good Lord, I could never even try to fuck Princess on the offensive because she's so fucking hot. She don't even know I live. Look at this. I mean, it's like you say, look, I'm older. Mrs. Ogre's 42. But I'm older. She's hot to me. Okay. But no, and I'm just going to look at her right now and I'm going to put myself in you lot's shoes, barring voice, because he's old like I am. No, this is a cougar at best. She's a gold digger, and she is. What is it inside of Harry that needs a woman to make him? Was his? I mean, his nannies, were they hard on something? He's got a mama complex, and so he wants a mom. That's all there is to it.
Maybe. I mean, I've had an older girlfriend before, and it's hot. You know, they're fucking hot. Like, you totally feel like you're in control because they don't want to lose you and all that stuff. So you just feel like a total alpha. That's how they make you feel, right? That's their only way of really keeping you, because you could just get a younger chick anytime.
Older girlfriend.
Really? Did she bully you?
No, she only bullied me in places that were really nice. I mean, she only took me places. No, sorry. Where am I going with this?
Yeah, I'm sure you noticed I was silent. Please continue, Common Sense.
Oh, cheers. Like, when I had an older girlfriend, it wasn't the case of I was in charge. I felt that I was in charge because she was old enough to be able to lead me to a decision that she wanted. For example, if I wanted pizza for a takeaway and she wanted Chinese, she'd go, "Oh, I really fancy Chinese tonight." I'll go, "Oh, I want a pizza." She'd go, "All right, then, yeah, we'll do what you want to do tonight, and the next time we'll do what I want to do." And then you start feeling a little bit guilty, and then she goes, "Oh, I'm a little bit hungry now. Are you ordering that pizza?" And you go, "Oh, I decided to get Chinese instead."
Hang on,
that's really nice.
Just because you're a fucking pussy doesn't mean it was a woman's fault.
No. Let's be fair. Let's be fair for a second, Voice, and I appreciate that, but let's be fair. I think that what you're describing right now is what I was trying to say in more of a way that Voice was just. Sometimes that's what I see in Harry. Okay, he needs the person that allows him to be the good son. That's what I mean by the mother complex. And I mean, good God, boys, I don't care. Voice, even you. If you look at this woman I'm looking at right now with her over mascaraed face and she's unattractive. I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Do you know how I know that she's a fucking?
It's very psychological.
Do you know how I know that she's fucking a bitch in general? She doesn't even want her own dad, which she said before.
Yeah,
she absolutely loves and cherishes and everything else like that. She doesn't want her dad to walk her down a fucking aisle.
No.
Now, what more of a bitch do you have to be, even if it's somebody else's idea, to be able to go, "Yeah, all right, then I agree with you," or it's her idea and going, "No, I don't want him there. I'm going to do it all by myself." I just don't understand how you can have that level of fucking selfishness.
It's cold.
And like you said, we're tied in. So now her dad's not walking out, and her uncle is not even being invited. Now, look, if we're having a royal wedding, man, me and some chick, I would, you fill the place up. Everybody, second cousins, third cousins, her uncle's not going to be there. That's kind of fucked up.
I'm happy because at least it's one fewer fucking guest that we, the taxpayer, have to fucking pay for.
Oh, but you're getting push and backs though. You're getting push
Someone
and
else will fill that space too.
I wish they died in a fucking plane crash. They're very useful as fucking tits in a board.
Stop trying to kill everybody. Stop proving you're Irish.
Be happy with tits on a boar. I'm sorry. But this does show a lot about this woman. She's obviously controlling. She's found herself a younger man and, I mean, a prince. What do you think that means to this female that appears to us here, who account to pretty much nothing, just our own opinions, to be pretty much a predatory older person that is probably trying to put herself in a position more than find a life mate?
Well, she's doing what every woman does. I mean, it goes right back to the early days of the caveman. They look for the strongest, most successful person in the tribe to mate with, and that's what she done. You have to give her at least some respect for that.
Well, she'd be hanging out with Nigel Farage, not this loser.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what I said beforehand. It is the fact that every woman is always promised by Disney and everything else like that in this generation and her generation, the fact that you will get your prince, you will get your love in yourself. You'll be able to have that prince come and pick you up. And for being a feminist, she's gone, "No, I'm going to do everything by myself." Used her feminine wiles to be able to get up and write different speeches and speak in the UN to make him think that he's on fucking par with her.
But she has no power, right? I mean, in the end, help a yank out, because I know she's this feminist nut job. just because she's going to be some princess or whatever, that doesn't mean anything as far as legislation goes. Or it's just like the Harry Potter bitch going.
It depends if he becomes king,
crying, right?
It depends. Hey, don't you start in Hermione, matey boy.
Boy, I'd love to fuck that girl in the asshole, boy. I tell you, I'd like to bend her over.
Hang on a minute, Ogre. Remember whose stream? It's not a fucking Monday.
I'm sorry. I thought I muted myself. Did I say that? Could y'all hear me? I said that girl has grown up to be such a wonderful looking young lady with a finely turned hind end.
Remember, it's a Sunday. It's a chilled stream.
I gotta be honest. I'm looking at pictures of her on Google Images.
Don't you start?
She's fit. She's fit, man. She's got nice tits. She's got great legs.
Watson.
She's got nice feet too. I gotta say, there's a couple of pictures of her on here, and I'm like, whoa.
I would.
There's one where she's doing gymnastics, and I'm like, she's got a great ass. You know, she's okay.
Tell me,
she really is not that bad looking.
So much for your children's stream comments.
But you know, it's she's old. Like, you know, I mean,
she's not
gonna
that
be
old. Is she old for you, mate?
36.
Really? Oh, she is that? Okay, all right. Time flies.
She's gonna be popping out babies.
No, she's not though, is she? She's not gonna be popping out babies. Her time's almost up.
No, I hope she doesn't. I hope she never looked. My old lady's never had a baby, man. And because I mean, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. You think the woman would want one? No. I'm going through this thing at my age where I just wish I had a little daughter. A son would be okay. But at my age, it'd be nice to have some 24-year-old daughter that came around once in a while. I was like, oh, Daddy, thank you so much for the good times when we used to go fishing and paying for my college and buying me my first car and paying for my wedding and giving me all the fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars that cost you through my lifetime. So and everything else. I mean, it'd be so wonderful. It'd be so wonderful. But then anyway, no, that's why we didn't have one.
Yeah, I can imagine the Jew come out in you, didn't it?
So fucking expensive, man. Oh my god. What were we talking about that just ruined it for me?
Merkel, not the way that she looks.
I hope she doesn't have one because look, you don't have a child, right? On the offensive?
No,
don't
not yet.
Do it. Has your wife's never had one? I'm assuming, right? You didn't marry a woman. Yeah. No, don't have children. I mean, my old lady's 42 years old. I won't even lie because she's worked out her whole life. She's actually a little more fit today than she was when we were married when she was 18. I can't say the same for myself, but we're not talking about me. We'll leave it on the woman's side. And man, if as soon as they have a kid, mate, now because I don't want to go, I don't know who could watch this, but if I looked at other family members of her that looked a lot like her when they were young and had 2 or 3, oh my goodness, it's all over.
Yeah, back in the room.
Well, I mean, you know, that is one of the downsides. There are lots of downsides you can come up with to having kids, but I don't know what do you do with your life? I suppose you just get drunk and have a laugh if you don't have kids.
Don't be buying her ice cream and shit then, because I've seen a lot of girls also have children and then a month later you couldn't even tell. I do believe my wife would have been one of those people. Now I'm with you, man. I won't even lie. I can talk all the shit I want, but I wish we would have had at least 3 kids.
Yeah, I do want quite a few. You know, I just want a little house, maybe enough money to have a car, and some rugrats running around.
Ah, man, would that be nice? You get in from the hard day's work, Daddy's home. You know, you play Buck and Bronco or something, and man.
Yeah,
I just want to be good.
Sorry,
anyway,
you didn't actually get through there. You're gonna have to re-speak.
Prince Harry, I just found this out. Prince Harry has a 44% less likely chance of getting divorced than if he'd married a white woman. That's true. This is interracial divorce rates compared to divorce rates among white couples.
Let's face it.
So, like, if guess, okay, let's play guess the interracial divorce.
That was for you, boys.
Yeah. If an Asian man marries a white woman, do you think they're more or less likely to get divorced, and by what percentage?
I would say they're less likely by 5%.
All right, common sense guy.
I'd say they're more. I'd definitely say they're more. Probably around about 55.
And what do you say there, the voice?
I would say if it's let me see, an Asian man and a white woman, a higher chance. But if it's a white man and an Asian woman,
they might ask the other ones.
Yeah, just
all right. Here's the answer. It is 54% more likely that they will get divorced. Now, moving on. What happens if a white woman marries a black man?
Oh man, because it's got to be a reverse psychology. So I'm gonna say they're 10%. Oh, hang on. Somebody else go first. I went first last time, fuckers.
Yeah, okay. No worries. I'll go. White woman, black man. I would say that they are about 36 to 40% chance of getting divorced.
Okay.
I'm going to agree and say 40% divorced and 40%.
Boyce, what do you say?
I'll say 80 or above.
All right. Here's the answer. 200% more likely.
Oh, I win. I thought it was a trick question, but that wasn't. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. But if a white guy marries a black girl, 44% less likely. And if a white guy marries an Asian, 4% more likely.
Because we can take them bitches and make them right, man. You take yourself a Negro bitch, man, and you can make right. you can get her out because you're getting her out of the ghetto, man. You take her out of the ghetto and you're like, look, bitch, you want to go back to Shirleyqua and fucking Ashika on the corner with Natasha over there? Or you want to fucking chill out in the big house with the white boy? It's like, oh, yeah, no problem, massive.
Are you describing how a porno starts, Ogre, or a fantasy? What were you describing now? Porno or fantasy?
My day off, common sense. I am breaking out the stories, baby. You got to admit, I'm showing the story. I'm doing my job, kind of.
Isn't it funny how on this stream, the white supremacist is less racist than a Jew?
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
I'm wondering. I think the white supremacist is you on the offensive. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jesus, I'm a fucking white supremacist.
About.
I don't know. You have to actually. I don't want to make a straw man. You have to ask. Yeah, who did you mean, voice?
No comment.
Yeah, right. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Like as we said, he's only here because he does believe that you're one of the leaders of the alt-right. And I tell everybody, we've asked you. You know, I want to keep saying it. No, he's not alt-right. He doesn't think your ideas are stupid, but you can't just label people alt-right because they like the fact that they're white and from England, you dumb sons of bitches. You can't just do that.
And with that being said, right then, lads, I think most of the stories are done. Does anybody else want to kick off with a story, or do we all want to say fuck off to everybody?
Let's just leave it. Can I bring up one? Here's a good headline. University hopes women with arts A levels will flock to engineering. It's got a photograph of 3 women. I don't know how to share my screen. I'm not even going to bother. But it's got a photograph of 3 women who are blatantly actors dressed up like engineers, like in some construction site. Below it says horrifyingly this caption: "The UK has the lowest percentage of female engineers in Europe." Dun, dun, dun. And then the article reads, "Britain's first specialist engineering university will take school leavers without A-level maths or physics to boost the number of female students."
Oh, fuck off. Seriously. They're going to allow people who haven't even fucking been able to manage high school math into engineering programs. Oh, this will be fucking awesome.
Government incentive as well, mate. Government incentive this. I remember the fucking story. I remember the fucking story as well. As On the Offensive said, they don't even take fucking A levels of anything. They're literally forced. If you got A levels in fucking dance theory or fucking arts, they're going to go, yeah, you're fine. Come in, so you can use your sociology shit from school now to fucking go into a fucking proper job. So they've actually found a reason why you can actually, do your fucking studies, your social studies.
Hey, look, we do need more women in STEM, okay? But
why?
Why? Because it just, I don't know. I will tell you why if you let me finish, though, why I believe it. But we also need more men in psychology and in counseling. I believe that in the end, diversity is a good thing, not when it's forced. There are a few white boys. Okay, I'm going to go that route because I'm just going to stick with the women, but obviously I'm going to get piled on by the MGTOW, the voice, if I, try to defend women in any way. And so, no, I'll just leave it at this. Instead of being a smarmy cocksucker and going on for 10 minutes, I'll just leave it at this and say, yes, we need more females in STEM because a diversity does help. There is situations where even in engineering, to have somebody that sees it a little bit different than you do to see around the corner, but we don't need to lower the bar to do that. If we have to lower the bar one iota, then fuck it. Let everybody in the lab be a man. Let everybody in the children's reflex studies be female. But the only thing I can say, but I want to reiterate, is that right now there are no men going into psychology. It's common sense, guy. There's no one else. How many men were in your class when you just finished, mate? How many men?
To be fair, it was the most that college has ever had, and it was 4.
In a class of how many?
30.
Yes, and as you progress, the further you progress.
I'm sorry. I'm interrupting here. Who gives a shit, all right? They don't want to do that stuff. They're not good at engineering. On the whole, it doesn't interest them. But men and women are different. Just let them be different. If we're not allowing, men and women to be different, then we're destroying our society. We're destroying the balance.
I agree.
And the fabric of society. So no, I don't care. And then this comment really bothers me, right? The one from the article that says the UK has the lowest percentage of female engineers in Europe. Well, just logically, one country would have to have the lowest female percentage, right? Just one would have to in Europe. It's us. Who gives a shit? Like, what does that even mean? It means it's meaningless. We would never expect equal outcome anywhere in nature.
I guess the reason that I'm so adamant is because I feel like if I give a little ground on the one side, because you're right. I mean, in the STEM fields, it's hard because I'm not sure that it should change. And it does seem like it's worked out well in the past. All right. So scientifically, but psychology was started by William Went. It's something that goes back to Benjamin Rush, if you want to go back even further. And we think of Milgram. We think of Pavlov. We think of B.F. Skinner. We don't think of any females whatsoever. But now, in this modern age, common sense was 1 of 4 in a class of 30. And the further he progresses towards, hopefully, in my heart, I hope he becomes a doctor. The further he progresses towards that in the field of psychology, he's going to end up being 1 in 1,000. There's very few males are getting doctorates in psychology.
You know what, Ogre? I wouldn't give a shit because it's my choice. It's the same as if the women that want to go in to do their bits and pieces. If women want to go into engineering, they can. There's no stumbling
block. Male's choice. It's engineering. Look,
please let me finish. Please let me finish. We'll let you finish.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Sorry.
If you have the choice, there's no stumbling blocks. If the women have the choice to go and do what they're doing, which they do have the choice to do, if they don't want to do it, why would you force them to go and do it because it's an easier option? Why would you destroy the chance of being able to make them do stuff? We have the freest society in the world at the minute. Why would you force people by having quotas, by going, well, we need to make it a parity? It doesn't matter if you want more men in a particular field or more women. You have the opportunity to do that.
But I'm not for forcing by quotas or forcing by psychological pressure. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Neither doesn't matter.
Because it's the same thing. What's happening, the reason there are not so many males in psychology is because of this blending of intersectional feminism and racism, this gender studies, feminist dance theory blending. When you go into psychology, when I took my degree 20 years ago, I'd have to look for 15 years ago, I think, when I finished, it was getting in there now. You see me pull out that stupid book. The blending of this, the making it a feminine, you can't have, it has to be toxic masculinity. And without continuing to stumble common sense, what I'm telling you is the reason there's not more men in your field right now is not because of choice. It's because they have to take a certain curriculum nowadays to get that degree. And most of them, the further you progress, even you will look at a lot of your curriculum and be, holy fuck, you mean I have to do this to go where I'm going? And yes, the answer is yes.
I've already had to sign a quota of signing on particular what is it, values of the college, British values and college values, but I'm not bothered about that. It's the same as if most people wanted to go and do what they're doing. It's about the course. If you want to do the course, you focus on doing it to go into a career. It's the same thing as if
you're not bothered about it. But remember, some people are, and that's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against a feminist movement that says
can't have wanted the job very well, then can they, Ogre?
Well, but we're fighting against the same thing. We can't. How can we allow ourselves to fall into this and allow it and say it's okay? And I've jumped through the hoops. If we're fighting against people that are saying we couldn't excel because we're women and you wanted to look up our skirt, and while we were at lunch break, I heard you snickering with your mate and saying nice tatas on her, hey lads, and whatever. Yeah, but, I mean, can't we just say it's the way it is? And if you'd like to be a psychologist, be a psychologist. Then the numbers would even out without all this.
But you can't moan about that side of things from the feminist point of view of them saying that, which you just said, and then going, "Oh, no, I'm just saying in general." You're not moaning, but you're bringing up the point of saying that's the reason why women feel they can't do what they're doing or want to do.
Well, that's the argument they use.
Yes, fine. It still goes into the same point. I've got to go and do something that I don't want to do by signing a fucking agreement saying that I'm not going to fucking be racially abusive to somebody.
Where is the psychological attack against women? Do you see what I'm saying?
I don't care.
All right. Okay. I'm done. I'm done.
The reason why I don't care on that one.
I'll just keep on. We'll have at each other all night. I'm done. So if that's what it is.
But no, the only thing I'm going to say is that it doesn't matter if you wanted to do the job enough, or if you wanted to go into the career enough. It doesn't matter what hoops you jump through. Anything that you want in life, you have to fight for. Nothing in life is fucking free. If you have to jump through hoops to get through something, you have to jump through those hoops.
Can I intervene? Like, look, I think you guys are sort of talking past each other a bit. Ogre said, like things have become corrupted in academia, and that is encouraging men to not do certain things. And then you said, well, you just got to work hard for things in life. But surely you would agree with him that academia has become corrupted.
Yeah, no, of course I would agree with him that it's become corrupted. Obviously.
Do you think that it's possible that could create a disparity in who studies which subjects that otherwise wouldn't be there?
Not really, to be honest.
So you think you'd still get the gender disparity, but would it be reduced if certain subjects weren't so hostile to men?
I haven't noticed any subjects that are big, so I'm using my anecdotal evidence on that one. But I could concede that there are probably some. I know when I went into doing healthcare for the elderly, that it was always frowned upon. So I know that there are definitely jobs where it's frowned upon for men to do. So yes.
Okay.
What's the other side there? If you got another side, because you just got on my side, so because. Yes, I don't want to disparage you, but I don't know. Is there another side on the offensive?
I don't care. Can I just be clear? I was just like pitching your argument to him in to sort of get somewhere with the conversation. But I'm not on your side. I don't care if there's gender disparity. I like gender roles. I think they're natural and healthy. I'm a traditionalist bloke. I think marriage is great. I think that women thrive in a family home. I don't think that women really get that much from letting their ovaries dry out by being engineers. I don't think that on the whole, there are outliers. There are some women that'll go that path, but on the whole, it's a man's game.
So, brother, I got to pin you down on the offensive. So is my field, which both are being dominated by women, divinity and psychology, should they be traditionally female roles?
I don't know enough about those jobs, but I'll tell you this, that I could say about all subjects. Women that go to university, I think they're a third more likely to never get married if a woman goes to university, if she goes to college. Third more likely. And, you know, no one tells women that before they go off and study something. They're all encouraged to go and say, get in a STEM subject, go and do this, girls, you can do it. I think we're just opening the door to misery for a lot of these women. Of course, some of them will get married and be happy and whatever. Some will go into careers and they'll get married and they'll never see their kids, whatever. But I think on the whole, like, most women would probably just be happier getting married. And what's happened now is, like, with all these women graduating in all these subjects and stuff, we've doubled the labor force. So we've halved wages effectively. You know, supply of labor has doubled. And no one is better off for this. Now you've got two parents working. I mean, how are the kids better off? You know, how's the home better off? How are people happier with this scenario? Why do you want two people working? It used to be just one person could work. I think it's a real fucking scam. All of this egalitarian talk about we got to. I'm not saying yours try to scam me, Erogo, right? Don't take this the wrong way, but I think a lot of this is propaganda, and it's really quite destructive, and nobody is actually better off for it.
I'll have to think about that. You're probably correct. Because I have to, and if I may defend myself very quickly and then voice, I will shut up because I know you want to say something. To defend where I'm coming from, when I see the barrage, brother, and when I was getting my degree, it was the end. It was a male-dominated thing. Psychology was rational. We went to the laboratory. We did tests. We had double-blind studies. We gave people sugar pills. We told them lies to make them think we were doing something else, to see what they really thought about stuff. And then we examined the data. We compiled it. We put it together. We got the variables. And then we came up with a conclusion. We started with the hypothesis. We ended with the conclusion. I don't know how else to say it. And now, more and more, that's being thrown out for a load of fucking ninnies. They get together and talk about their feelings for endless, countless hours and days at the expense of the state and people's parents to come up with, I feel this way. And man, I guess
it's a travesty. I completely agree with you on this bit.
To feelings, and for that, I apologize.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that point. Hey, what were you going to say, Voice?
The first thing I would say is that your analogy, Ogre, at the very start was simply diversity of thought. But everybody, even if they're, as a black woman in America recently said and got fucking jumped upon for it, even if there's 10 white men in a room, there will still be diversity of thought. So no, I don't believe there's anything an individual woman can bring to the table when it comes to engineering. You know, secondly, you have to remember that if you want to take a long view of this, we are in the transitional stage at the minute. You know, if you want to go back to when Freud and everybody was getting their psychology degrees, well, back then it was just rich men who were becoming psychologists. It wasn't working class blokes. So it was a class thing back then. And now, thanks to the current quote-unquote progressive mindset, things are changing. Things have swung the whole way from the right to the whole way to the left. And it'll be another 20 years before it equals back to the middle again. So there is going to be greater disparities now than there is in 20 years when this shit has been pushed away. So again, it's not just a simple thing of we need more women because if you look back right to the start of, say, I think it was the mid-90s, they started pushing more women in STEM. Billions of pounds have been spent with different, what do you call them, ways of getting women into STEM, and it's almost exactly the same number of women in STEM now than it was back in the early 90s. So nothing has changed. You have to let people choose what they want. You can't turn around and say, well, we need more women in this simply because you want more biological women in this. That's just for myself, is just an invalid argument. You know, I would want more individuals who have a passion for engineering in engineering. Just like I would say, I want people with a passion of psychology in psychology. You know, I just don't want people to be there to make up some sort of quote. And I know Offensive said not much of this himself, And I think the main reason why you're getting so many women doing psychology classes now, and I mean, no offense to common sense guy here, but let's be honest, psychology is just sitting around thinking about shit, how people operate. I'm sorry, but let's be honest, most modern college courses, most people could pick them up on the internet by reading books or
too bad he couldn't take your last exam, common sense.
That's the only difference. That would be the last the only thing that would change is a piece of paper saying common sense is now a psychologist. That's it. But I
get your point, but I had to defend it because I went through what he's going through now, and what they make you memorize, the date somebody wrote such and such paper. What the fuck is the Oedipus complex? Penis envy? What the hell? You mean I want a bigger cock? I mean, you got to remember, you do all these things that and a lot of them, as far as this field goes, you think that it means that it's one way, but it's not, and you got to answer these questions on an exam eventually. So I do appreciate what he's going through. That's all I was saying. I'm going to stick up for him on that too, because yeah, it's not just that. It's not just sitting around thinking. It is a lot like history in one way, voice, and that is that you do have to remember what school of thought is this, who thought of that, what year was that, when did who do this, and the whole nine.
Yes, but you only need to know that for a test.
Well, no, good Lord, ask me some questions. When do you want to know when Benjamin Rush first thought of the?
I'm sorry, but most psychology is common sense.
Ego, and when Freud came up with talk about Bernays and the idea of, I mean, what I know, it's not, if you really want to do it, and that's why I'm against fucking women just doing it, boys. Because yes, there's a lot of women that are going to be good at just taking the tests, and it's not just about sitting around thinking. It's about considering how humanity, and that goes back. That has been look. I'm over it. You were right on the offensive. I need to absorb what you lads have said, but let's please remember that from Seneca to Aristotle to Socrates, that all of them were men. We have been getting together for ages and discussing the human condition. And with all due respect, voice, I kind of get my back hair up when it's taken lightly, as music is taken lightly. The arts, music, philosophy, psychology, those things are as important as the STEM. Oh God, I gotta hide because I think a book is going to get thrown at me from on the offensive.
Really? No, I was gonna agree.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, "Yeah, fucking bloody moron."
No, I don't think psychology is a waste of time. I think psychology is really interesting and important, and it can help us make public policy. It informs a lot of other things.
Sorry, shit, I forgot your name. On the offensive. That's yes, great.
No worries, mate.
If I could just defend right here. Sorry. Yes, I know there are aspects of psychology. The psychologists who actually help people with mental illnesses, who have personal or emotional issues. Those psychologists, I am 100% behind. But let's be honest, there's a lot of psychologists who just get out and do things like couples counseling and bullshit they got. And then
what's wrong with that? What's wrong with couples counseling?
No, hang on. But then you go and put fucking philosophy, which is literally sitting around thinking about shite, in with the same as STEM. I'm sorry, no fucking way.
Wait a minute. Can I come in here? Okay,
yes,
look.
Please, yes.
One of the pillars of Western civilization is the classical legacy. We inherited all the knowledge from the Greeks and Romans, and it really fucking helped us survive and thrive. I mean, inductive and deductive reasoning, for instance. You couldn't build a machine without this type of logic that was invented by philosophers.
But they were building machines without knowing what those things were. I mean, do you think the first person...
The Industrial Revolution couldn't have happened without the foundation.
Hang on. Do you honestly telling me the first person who came up with an axe turned around and said, I wonder what the philosophy of this thing I'm just doing is? No.
An axe is a tool, not a machine.
You have a name for it doesn't mean people weren't doing it.
Voice, only I and common sense can filibuster. Let him say something. Come on, go ahead on the offensive. And you're fine, voice. Don't be butthurt, but only we can filibuster. Let him talk.
An axe is a tool. It's not a machine. And in order to build a machine, and in order for us to have had the Industrial Revolution that greatly improved the lives and living standards of people living in the West and made us an economic, cultural powerhouse and the greatest civilization of all time, I'm sorry, the legacy of the Greeks and what the Romans then built on after that was very important, and it got us, that knowledge got us out of the Dark Ages, because the church kept it alive. The monks would write it down and recopy all of Aristotle and Plato and everything that they had, and they realized that this was the ingredients to rebuild civilization during the Dark Ages, and it worked. It got us out of it. A lot of that philosophy and stuff went in to inform Christianity, and it's vital.
Let's let him vent for a minute too. I know he's got something to say to that.
Oh yeah, don't bring up Christianity. Yeah, that was a great success. If you want to take philosophy into that, awesome. No, but come on. I mean, again, I'm not. I know Ogre's been to college. I know Common Sense is currently in college. Have you been to college, Furious?
On the offensive,
yes.
What did I call you, Furious?
Just call him OTO, like the Order Templi Orientis. OTO.
So you're all college people, all right? I'm giving you the view of someone who has never at college. You know, we don't look at those things the way you look at them. If I want to go and build something, I don't think the philosophy of building something, I fucking build it. You know, to us, plebs, it's not an important factor, and especially not modern philosophy. Because I've looked at modern philosophy, especially to the quote-unquote progressive attitudes towards it, and it is complete bullshit.
That's something to be said right there. So what do you say about the idea of those who can do and those who can't teach, is I think what he's saying. Is that what you're saying, Voice?
No, I understand.
In other words, the difference between saying how something should be done, the joist should go here, the door should go here, this is how the architecture of the house should go, and now making wood be that thing. Those things are vastly different. We all know. I think that's what you're saying.
I'm just a practical person. I would rather have the person who builds something rather than the person who thinks about the philosophy of building something.
Yeah. So OTO, what do you have any response to that right there?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough if you want to approach life like that, like, whatever, you think about things however you want, but the reality is that, like, the things you're capable of, your living standards right now, all the things you're taking for granted, the blood flowing in your veins, maybe even the family line that survived, that produced you, wouldn't be around without a couple of pillars and staples of Western civilization, and one of those pillars is the philosophy. I mean, when you come to the infrastructure that runs a city, or these incredible machines that just can produce products so cheaply for us, so we've got this just incredible technology at our fingertips. Like, it does have a lineage, and it goes back to Greeks and Romans. So yeah, I mean, in your everyday life, it might not affect you, but like it is who you are, in a sense. Like, you've inherited that.
No. And very quickly, before I let him say something here, Voice, I know you got something to say to that. I was talked a lot, but it makes me think a lot, boys, of when I used to say, well, why would I ever need to know geometry? Or why would I ever need to know, complex characters in math? Why would I ever need to use algebra? And then I grew up. And I got a business, and I started to keep a book, and I started to have to lay out floor plans for greenhouses and big footers and do these things. And so I would say that's the problem with mixing genders too much. Men are capable of learning and then applying the learning. And I don't know where you're at, OTO, but we have a good friend, the Cult of Lich. He lives in, I'm not sure if he says the country, so I'm not going to say it right now, but close to you in that area of the world. And he's got a little compound, and the man is he applies knowledge in a way that just lets you know that there's something. And yes, call me a nationalist, call me a racist. I'm a Jew, so you can't call me a skinhead or a Nazi. Call me anything else. But he reminds me of the quintessential white man that can go into the distant strange yellow heathen jungle, carve out a small place with his own hands, build a house with his own hands, till the earth and make a plantation that feeds him and his wife and his family. And I have hope in that, and I will never agree with you. Boys, men are being snuffed out systematically.
Going back to the philosophy thing very, very quickly. With obviously Voice making a very good point about going, oh, I don't worry where the axe come from. I use the axe. The thing is, if we take that analogy a little bit further, if you have the axe, you're going to think about how can I make this axe better so I can make everything easier. That's philosophy.
No, that's common sense.
No,
that's engineering. That's not.
That's philosophy.
You know, that's not philosophy, or at least not what I count philosophy.
It's philosophy the way he said it.
We're not
you can't even argue it. The way he said it is philosophy. You could take that the same premise and you could make it something else, but the way that he just stated it, it's philosophy. It is. Philosophy is a real thing, is what I would agree with.
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't give a fuck. As a pleb here talking, shove your philosophical bullshit up your arse. I'll deal with practical things. I'm sorry.
We're engaged in a philosophical debate right now.
Yeah. No, sorry. I'll tell you this.
We're engaged in debate. Why are you
been the most? No, hang on. He's been the most philosophical among us.
Calm.
No, hang on. Let's put 1,000 philosophers on an island and 1,000 engineers. I wonder who'll live.
Oh, I would go. I'm a philosopher, and I would go. I'm not sure about that stuff on Molyneux. He'd probably die in the first day, but some of us would make it.
But the thing is, you've got to think with the engineering, there is a philosophy behind the engineering. How did they get to be able to work everything out? They had to sit down and work everything out. That's not a practical means. They have to sit down and work it out. That is the process of philosophy.
Yes.
Sorry, again. I'm talking as a pleb here, not one of you college Nazi boys.
Oh, bullshit. You already said that once, and so you're trying to bring us down, but that's not true. Just because I think the people here, and common sense guys, just on the cusp. I can't believe he's not actually standing up and saying, I'm a fucking Bowery boy from the East End of London, fucker. I've had my nose broke 5 times. I'm not just a college kid. I mean,
as you well know, Ogre, as you well know, I don't have to hide behind fucking things. I'd rather debate the actual points.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, so here it is. Please look at it this way. Everything starts with philosophy. That is the most beautiful thing he said. You can have an axe. It could do these things. It all starts with an idea. I can do something with this in my mind. Let's see if it will really happen in reality. Without philosophers, you have no practical anything.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to bring up a different story?
Oh no, I could tell. This is me, bro. I'm fucking in heaven. Okay, is that it, bro? That's it. No, I'm leaving. I gotta go. I've got to go. I got 10 minutes.
No, hang on. Philosophy definition: a theory or attitude that acts on a guiding principle for behavior.
Yeah. So
and it says ideology, thinking all things outside the practical standpoint.
Yeah. So let's take your premise of what we said before about the axe. You have to think of a theory that is going to make that axe better for you to be able to use.
Yes, but it's not a philosophy, it's a theory.
Yes. But then
and before we move on,
look,
comments, if we can, before we move on, let's give our guest of honor. We know he's a big shot. He's got fucking thousands of subs and shit. It's so cool. Since he is, I want to know too, are we on the right page? My bro and me. Is this just, are we ganging up on The Voice? Is it true? Is everything a philosophy? Even your own, I'm going to live tomorrow. You're thinking that it's everything that definition just said. Is that true or no? Is it nothing?
We're definitely involved right now in a philosophical discussion. Yep. And, you know, the methods of philosophy, I think was what Common Sense Guy was getting at. And I've got the Wikipedia page up in front of me. Philosophical methods include questioning, critical discussion, rational argument, and systematic presentation. So it is the beginnings of science that this came from, right? It's like,
yep.
You know, we wouldn't have all the music we'd have today if we didn't have Mozart. You might not like Mozart much, but you got to give him credit because that guy like added a lot to music, and then from that today we have loads of new styles. So yeah, I just think it's important.
When the Empire comes back, you philosophers will be driven into the sea.
Well, I think that's a good thing to end on, to be fair. On the offensive, as you all know, we always do a final word. What we'll do is
weaseling out this time either, young man. You better be ready.
Yes, but what we'll do is we'll let on voice go first, and then we'll have on the offensive, then Ogre, then me. So if you wouldn't mind, voice, if you wouldn't mind going first, would be most appreciative, please.
While I may disagree with my fellow people, I will take what they said into account. I'm quite honest, I don't fully understand this whole philosophical thing. I see things from a practical standpoint. So yes, I will do a bit more research into philosophy, and at some point do a video for these nice, kind people who have allowed me on this stream, and we'll see what my findings are.
No worries. Thank you very much. I look forward to that video, and I'm more than happy to help you if you want any help at all. On the offensive, it's your turn, brother.
All right. Well, first of all, excuse me. Fantastic fun as always, chaps. You know, it is now 4 a.m. in Vietnam, and I feel awake and happy. I just always enjoy these chats, and I'll tell you, I think this is the third time I've streamed with you guys, and there's always, what I like about it so much is that I always find in our discussions, the idea that you present into the discussion, like, it just gets added to so much by everybody else's comments and feedback, and we're all just enjoying this quest for truth, for meaning and understanding. And when we chat together, it just clarifies things. It helps you moderate and check your ideas and ensure that they can stand up to scrutiny. And I always enjoy that on this stream, because no one's a cuck. And everybody will just say immediately if they disagree with something. And it's great fun. It's just really, I just really enjoy it. So thank you so much for having me on. And cheers to everyone watching at home.
No worries. Thank you for coming on as well.
Yes,
yours.
I will be brief as I can possibly be, which means I've got 2 minutes. It's something when gentlemen get together. The reason I lament for Jordan Peterson would be close to my age, and whereas he excelled far beyond what I could ever dream of in my own field, he's only just fairly my elder by maybe 8-10 years. So just 2 classes above me. What have we sunk to? What has it become when a brother of mine that I respect as much as any philosopher I met in the hallowed halls of academia, the voice, would classify me in a different light than he would? Has philosophy, has psychology, has the liberal arts fallen to such a degree that the common man, meaning my brother, I'm a common man too, but I hope everyone please follow with what I'm saying. This means no disrespect here. That the common man would look at me and say, you and your fucking ivory tower. Whereas only a mere 20 years ago, we would have been hand in hand. There would have been no kind of discussion. What is the worm that has wheedled its way into the waxing wood? It is feminism, folks. It is identitarian politics. It is the idea of racism. Racism does not exist. There is no such thing as racism. There is good, there is evil, there is right, and there is wrong. If you subscribe to the idea of racism and feminism, you are a weak sister and should be removed and replaced by firmer timber than you will ever be. Be good to your friends and family. They'll depart before you know it.
Thank you very much for that, Ogre. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you very much for my guests for coming on. I wouldn't have been able to do this stream without you. It is absolutely amazing. Just to quickly make a quick point. You see four lads having a fucking massively great discussions with lots of different points, lots of different views. Sometimes between certain people we can get heated. Doesn't matter who it's with. Doesn't matter how heated it gets either. We say this time and time again. It's the fact that you're passionate about what you're talking about. It's the fact that you care enough to be able to defend your points of view vigorously. Nobody actually really feels any sort of dishonor or anything else like that when they're defending their points against somebody who can actually counterpoint and, as Ogre would say, counter punch and punch with you and against you. That is the whole process of getting your synapses firing, for thinking, oh, I need to defend my point of view on here. How do I change this? But another little aspect of it being just men. We don't have to actually hide or pull our punches. We can be almost as brutal as we want to be, because we know that it's banter. We know that it's the point of we're just having a laugh. We're expressing our opinions by being brotherly at the same time. And that stems from the fact of, if anybody watched Mad Dog Productions stream this morning, that was literally exactly what we were talking about, or what I'm talking about now. The fact that we're able to rib on each other, not worry about it, but be able to talk and actually express what our opinions are. And I love it when On the Offensive comes on. I love it when Voice comes on, because they are completely different voices to what we're compared to and what we normally have on. Yes, they sometimes think the same as we do, and sometimes me and Ogre think the same. As you can quite rightly see today, we don't always think the fucking same. And that's the best thing about diversity, and but the best idea about diversity of mind, diversity of thought. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, yellow, pink, or yellow polka dot. It doesn't matter anymore. It's about what you think and how you express your opinions. So with that being said, I bid you a farewell. I bid you adieu. I'll speak to you all again real soon. Bye-bye for now.